I don't think there is a person among you that has not gotten stressed out on travel days.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a rig yet of any kind, but you're thinking about it, travel days are already in your thoughts as being a bit stressful.
Yes. And today we're going to give you 4 ways to eliminate that stress on travel days.
So one of the things that you can do that will really help relieve your stress on travel day is to do a lot of planning in advance.
Yeah. The first thing you can start with is planning your route. You want to make sure you don't get yourself in trouble by going over a mountain that your rig's going to struggle on or go through a spot that you really shouldn't. One thing we use is Road Tripper, and another thing we use is RV Trip Wizard. Those things help us plan the route and make sure it's just perfect for our rig.
So something else that we do that really helps us on travel days is we avoid big city. You are not going to catch our rig going through the city of Atlanta if there's any way that we can get around it, because Atlanta is just, it's horrible driving through in a regular car, let alone a big rig. So we avoid that. There are ways you can go around it. You just got to plan a little bit to do it. Also, plan your drive so that you are avoiding high traffic times. Nashville, we've been through several times. We don't go through there during rush hour.
Right.
We may need to stop south and sit and wait till it's over sometime, but we just don't hit Nashville during rush hour. It's no fun, and there's no need in putting that stress on ourselves when we don't have to. Another time that you want to avoid, if you can, is high traffic times.
Yeah, holidays.
Yeah. Holidays, I know a lot of people travel on holidays, but if you can leave the day before or come home the day after or something, you will save yourself a lot of stress from traffic.
And another thing when you're planning is consider the weather. You want to make sure you're not traveling, and this will be closer to your actual travel day, is make sure you look at wind and the rain and the weather.
Storms.
It is so stressful to be in a very windy day or a very stormy day. We've done it, and it is no fun. So make sure
Something else we avoid.
check that weather a couple days out so you know, do we need to move? I think we even had to look hour by hour one time to see which.
In Montana this summer, we had to go hour by hour to find the hour with the least amount of wind because it was an insanely windy day and we were coming down the mountain.
And good thing we were only going 30, 40 miles, but we wanted to find the perfect time. So that really helps. And one of the things we use there is windy or drive traffic or highway weather. Those 3 apps will help you determine when's the best time to leave.
So one of the best things you can do on travel day to relieve your stress is leave some flexibility. I mean, if you need to stop and rest a little bit, you need to stop and rest a little bit. Kind of build a little flexibility into your schedule before you leave your home.
Yeah, and as you're planning your complete trip, leave a little flexibility. Lynn always says, you plan too much. We can't have a spontaneous
I like
decision.
Spontaneous.
You know,
I would never make a reservation.
But what I try to do is leave a harvest host that's a little bit easier to cancel than some, or a boondocker spot that we can always move if we want to stay at someplace. So always having some built-in days that you can be spontaneous and stop at that place that you really want to see. So now that you have your plan in place, now it's time to get your rig ready.
Yeah, don't wait until the day you're getting ready to leave to go out and start packing your RV. We always have the few things that we have to pack the morning that we leave, but for the most part, our RV is completely packed 1 or 2 days in advance.
Yes, there's nothing more stressful, and we've done it maybe once.
You will forget something if you do that. If you're trying to get out and get on the road, you will forget something, I promise.
And I get very stressed out when we're trying to meet a deadline and trying to pack at the last minute. And
he is the most stressed out person you've ever met.
That's why we have this video. So another thing that we have that helps us get the rig ready is use checklist. And we use a checklist to packing the rig. So we go down it, we make sure we know what we need to put in there.
That has helped a lot.
Yes. And then we use Google Keep, and that way we can add an item to it every time we think about it. We forget something, we add it to that list. So that really helps, and we will go down that list right before we leave. We'll go through it the night before or the couple days before when we're packing up the rig. And
we can check things off on that list as we get them loaded, and it will just leave the things that we remain, so it works out great for us.
And we have a checklist of things to make sure you turn off the water before you leave our condo.
Home-based checklist.
Yeah, a home-based checklist. and other checklists. But if you want some of those, please let me know. You can see our email address in our About page. Just check that out if you want any of our checklists. But those will help you get ready also. And another area that you can get your rig ready in is maintenance. Check your tires. We try to check our tires early and often and right before we leave. If you know you have a problem 2 days out, that will eliminate some stress versus that morning. We've had flat tires the morning we were leaving.
Yes.
A couple of times, right?
Well, we had flat tires the morning we were leaving, and we had just had the rig at the tire shop the day before to get the oil changed and the tires rotated and all the stuff done, and still got up the next morning and had a flat tire. So we had to go get a stem changed. We've had a couple of problems. We've had a battery at the last minute give us problems, and that's stressful, trying to leave it at a certain time, and then you have to go get a new battery. So try to do those early, and then check again right before you leave. So you want to check those. So another thing that you can do is be sure you take your rig early and get your fuel filled up or topped off. That goes along with your propane, your fresh drinking water, anything that you need in there in advance. We always try to fill ours up before we hook our rig up. Even when we stop and we disconnect, we'll go fill it up again before we hook our rig up if that's something we need to do.
Yeah, we tow a car, so
before we hook the car, the tow.
Both ways. We try to take the rig. If we're going to be leaving our home base, we'll go get the rig filled up or Class A filled up before we even hook up. That way it's a little bit easier, a little bit stressful. And then anytime we're out and about, we try to get the Jeep filled up before we get ready to roll.
Yeah. So another thing that you can do to help relieve stress on your travel days is to have a pre-done meal ready for you. Let's be honest, these rigs do not go well through the McDonald's drive-thru.
I've seen that video.
Not at all. I've seen the video. He'll probably put that video in here somewhere, but it just doesn't work well.
Yeah, don't be that person.
Don't be that person. So I'll make chicken salad in advance, or some kind of meal prep salad, whatever sandwiches that we can have while we're traveling. That way we can just pull into a rest area, eat a nice meal, take a little break, and then be ready to roll on.
And another thing she's done that makes the stress level go down is have something that we can fix real easy when we get to the campground. There's nothing worse than having a elaborate recipe on travel day that night and you're just getting in. It's usually better to have something simple. Something
super easy. Throw some hot dogs on the grill, or hamburgers, or whatever. It doesn't matter, just as long as it's not going to stress you out to get camp set up and then have to go and cook a big meal. So now you've got your plan made and you've got your rig ready. Let's talk about things you can do to be smart on travel day and to make your travel day a whole lot easier and less stressful.
Right. And the first thing I'll tell you is get a GPS that is for RVs. Whether it's an app like RV Life or Garmin or any of the other ones that they have out there. We have been using RV Life, and it's helped us a lot and saved us from any kind of stress.
Yeah, RV GPSs are essential. We thought we didn't need one. Until we were driving down the road, and it was in New York, a double lane, 4-lane highway, but it came up on this bridge and it was just a couple inches shorter than what our rig was. Luckily we stopped. We had to back up the interstate to get away from it. It could have been disastrous. So
yeah, it wasn't an interstate, but it was a US highway with low bridges, and luckily Lynn was driving. This was our first trip after retirement, and I'm glad she saw it because we could have lost the top of our rig.
Yeah, so it's really, really important that you have your rig's height into that GPS to save you from issues like that.
Right.
So another thing that we really, really tried to avoid to help relieve our stress is to avoid long travel days.
Yeah, we've done a few long travel days, but we don't have to anymore. When you only had a few vacations, you might travel longer and harder and faster, but that's when a lot of stress can take place, a lot of arguments can take place, and a lot of issues could take place. So what we want you to know is try to avoid those. One thing you can do,
and we understand you can't do it if you're still working and you've got a week or 2 weeks. That's a different situation, but if you're where you can.
But if you're going on a long day, don't forget to take those breaks every couple of hours or so to get out and walk and alleviate some of that stress. But one of the things we've followed for a long time is the rule of 3. Always try to arrive at your destination by 3 p.m. You don't want to sit up in the dark. That is so stressful. We've got stories about that. We won't include them here, but We've talked
I
about it
want
before.
to, but he won't let me. I'll just be honest with you.
Well, go ahead.
We literally had to hold flashlights for our neighbors one night because they were backing in after dark between two trees. It was so scary. We held flashlights on the trees so they could see it and get their rig in there. I was like, never.
I thought she was going to tell the one about me trying to put the fresh water in the black water flush tank in the dark. Luckily, we didn't have an explosion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with everything everywhere. So, but the rule of 3 is arrive by 3, never travel over 300 miles in a day, and that's about 6 hours in an RV. So that's still a long time. We try to keep it around 3 to 4 hours a day traveling. And the third thing is never travel that hard 3 days in a row. So if you're going 600 miles, don't keep doing that day after day after day. Number one, you're going to miss a lot, but number two, you're going to be so tired and cranky, and it won't be pretty.
The drive can be stressful if you're not very careful.
Right.
Okay, so another thing that you can do on travel day is to drive a correct speed. Our rigs are not supposed to be going 70 and 80 miles down the interstate. They say the average speed, or what is recommended rather, by the RV industry is between 60 and 65.
Right.
So you've got a choice, 60 to 65. That gives you a little bit of leeway, I guess. But going that speed will give you more time to react. If there's something that comes on the road in front of you that you need to stop for, if you're doing 80, you just can't stop on a dime. It will also save you gas mileage.
Right.
The faster you go, the more gas that you can use, the more gas you're going to use. And let's be honest, on a good day, we get 9 miles to the gallon. So who wants that to even go lower?
And they say most accidents are caused by speed. So you don't want to be getting out there then have a tire blow and go out. You have, as Lynn said, less reaction time. So drive the correct speed.
So last but not least, just go with the flow.
Yep. Things are going to happen. We've always said it's not a matter if things will happen, it's when. Things are going to happen, things are going to break down, you're going to have issues.
Yeah, and travel day seems to be the day they always happen.
So if you plan ahead and get ready and try to eliminate as many possible stress issues as possible, then you're going to have
a smoother day.
Yes, a better day.
Smoother, better day. So that being said, what is the thing that has happened to you on travel day that has thrown you the most off course? Everyone has had something. We got up one day after doing the day before and had dead batteries. Everything stopped until the batteries are replaced. So what has happened to you? Put it down in the comments and let us know. We would really love to know your story.
Yep, and we appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and follow us. We've got a lot of great things that you're going to need to know as you travel.
Yep. Until next time, God bless and many, many safe travels.
And go RV, America.